You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Connie Lau, Chairman and CEO of Hawaiian Electric Industries Inc., an American savings bank. Connie believes in actively supporting the community and is a trustee and director of several educational and nonprofit organizations such as Punahou School, Kamehameha Schools, the Hawaii Business Roundtable, and Charles Reed Bishop Trust, to name a few.
Where did you actually learn about giving back to the community, and when did you get started doing these types of endeavors?
Well, first of all, when I went to school, I grew up with the phrase, "To whom much is given, much is expected." And then when I went to work at HEI, Dudley Pratt, who was the CEO at that time, said, "No one will become a senior officer of Hawaiian Electric Industries who is not active in the community." So it just underscored what I had been brought up with.
That kind of stuff, though, is not taught typically in school. So when you mentioned before the MBA had prepared you for various things, what is it that prepares you for community service?
I think it's the expectation that, as I mentioned, the phrase, "To whom much is given, much is expected." And if you think about when you're growing up, all the people that had to support you, your mom, your dad, your family, your friends, your extended ohana, if you think about it, there are a lot of people who cared about you as you were growing up. And, life is about people. And so, you just grow up with that, not only expectation, but also a desire to help other people. I remember when I was little, my mom took me down to Palama Settlement because she grew up in Palama Settlement. And I thought to myself, why are you taking me here, Mom? It was kind of a depressed area, lower income. That's like the last thing that, a teenage kid wants to do. I'd probably rather go down to the shopping mall or something, or Ala Moana. But, she wanted to take me to Palama Settlement. And that experience has always stayed with me because she wanted me to know where she came from. And she wanted me to know that as well as my father and she had done, and as much as they were able to send me to the schools that they wanted to send me to, and the great education that I was getting, there was still a whole lot of people still behind in Palama Settlement. And so I just grew up with this idea that there were all these people that I was supposed to help out that were, still where my mom started out from.
So when you eventually decided that, this is your time in your career to start getting involved in the community, where did you start? And how did you know it was the right time to just go forward, especially when you're building your career?
It was never sort of not the right time. I was always active in various communities and doing different things. I think from a business perspective, there was a change in that when I went to work for Hawaiian Electric Industries, one of the things that I did was I managed the pension funds, and we had over $1 billion of assets in the pension funds. And so I became very good at investing in the stock market and all of that. And so when there was a foundation that was starting up that was endowed by a Filipina woman, and I was asked actually by our then CEO if I would go and help them start up the foundation and set up the endowment and make sure that it was properly managed, that there were strong financial policies that were in place. And that kind of started me on the track of utilizing, we talked about technical skills before in the people side, that started me down the track of realizing that one of the things great education had given me was good technical skills. And I ought to take those technical skills and utilize them to help the not-for-profit community. So in fact, I've taken many of those ideas myself and now integrated them into what we do at American Savings Bank. For example, we started a program to train our managers to be able to function as chief financial officers or treasurers of not-for-profit organizations. Because as I went through the not-for-profit world, There's lots of people out there with passion and heart, but what you find is good business skills and particularly good financial skills are really missing. Many not-for-profit organizations, charities can benefit from someone that has good financial skills. That involvement that I had with that very first foundation actually led to my involvement in a lot of different not-for-profit organizations, because after that I was asked by my alma mater, Punahou Schools, to come over and sit on the board and help them rebalance their endowment. The University of Hawaii Foundation also asked me if I would come in and restructure their investments. And finally, when the controversy at Kamehameha occurred in the late 90s, I was one of the special purpose and then interim trustees asked by the court to come in and help restructure Kamehameha schools.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio Hawaii.